Senate Judiciary Chair Lindsey Graham releasing two documents that the Justice Department declassified. They significantly undercut the FBI's Trump-Russia probe. Let's welcome Republican Lee Zeldin of New York. He's on House Foreign Affairs. Great to see you, Congressman. Your reaction to this development?
It's great to see the Senate chairs taking action. I think that much of the American public has been demanding this kind of accountability and transparency for a long time. And as we've seen on the House side, where Adam Schiff and Jerry Nadler will be using their gavels to try to remove a sitting president, let's get the other 97% of the story by having these senators with gavels dig into these cases.
All right, let's go through it. The first document, it's about a 40-page FBI interview with Christopher Steele's primary source. It took place with the FBI in January 2017. It shows that Steele's own source, who was on Steele's own payroll, he was not Russian. He was getting paid by Christopher Steele. Senator Graham says this person, quote, destroyed Steele's information, undercut his dossier, that it was a miscarriage of justice. Let me just quickly go through what this source was telling the FBI. This source told the FBI he was surprised that Steele gave the FBI third-hand and second-hand rumor and made like it was fact, and then the FBI used that information to get wiretaps. This person was not Russian. Again, Steele was paying this source. And that this source could not recall how Steele got the information that he put into his dossier that the FBI used to wiretap the Trump team. So this Steele's own source is undercutting to the FBI what Steele was saying. Your reaction?
The reaction is that when they were going for renewals on these FISA applications, that they should have hit the pause button. They should have stopped, and we could have a whole discussion as to whether or not they should have been able to get the FISA warrants in the first place against Carter Page. But as they continue to see the narrative get destroyed, the decision should be made through proper vetting. There's something called the Woods procedures. It's also important to be providing the FISA judges not just with the best information in favor of your application, but also the best information that you have against your application, because the person who's getting spied on isn't otherwise represented inside of that courtroom. So what's being exposed through today's release of information, aside from that debate over whether there should have been a warrant in the first place, is that these third and fourth renewals should have absolutely never gone forward with what the DOJ and FBI knew.
So again, you remember the FBI was still doing surveillance on the Trump team going into 2017 when after the president took office. Here's the second declassified document. It's a bombshell. It shows former FBI official Peter Strzok disagreeing with a New York Times article in February 2017. The Times was reporting that Russian intelligence did have ties to the Trump team, but Peter Strzok typed, quote, that we have not seen evidence of that. We are unaware of any Trump advisors engaging in conversations with Russian intelligence. But the FBI told the FISA court it believed Russian intelligence was working with Trump team members. And here's the other thing. Is this perjury with the FISA court? And who was leaking to the media that the Russian intelligence was working with the Trump team? Who was leaking that?
Well, first off, on the first question, is there absolutely have been false statements that have been made throughout this entire process. We know of many false statements that have been made publicly. Hopefully, this is part of Durham's investigation, and Durham takes action sooner rather than later. This is not something that should just get punted past the November election. We want accountability right now. As far as the leaks go, remember, part of this was orchestrated directly from the FBI director, James Comey. There was this desire to trigger a second special counsel. The whole Mueller probe was a consequence of FBI Director Mueller leaking through this professor in New York to the media some information, some of which was actually classified. That's a scandal in and of itself. This is a criminal offense when you leak classified information. Clearly, there was a huge abuse of power that was going on. Durham needs to take action.
Yeah, so all of what we were just talking about, Congressman, happened way before Robert Mueller was appointed. And the FBI knew by the time that Robert Mueller was appointed, they didn't have the evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. That's what happened. Congressman, great to see you. Thanks for joining us.